Hey, what's up, my YouTube fam? This is Larry. I am back with the best credit repair channel on the channel. Today, we're going to be talking about collection agencies. We're going to cover a lot of information on collection agencies. So I'm going to break some things down. I'm even going to break some stuff. You're going to blow you away. And court cases, right? I'm all about keeping it real with y'all. So please like, subscribe, and share to this channel, right? Share it on your Facebook page. Share it because people need to get this information out. And I'm going to break stuff down to you so it'd be in layman's terms so you can understand it, give you where you can find some of this information, all of that. I'm going to break down everything you need to know and things you need to watch out for, things that people don't talk about that are violations of the Fair Debt Collection Practice Act. So we're gonna get really deep into that. So everybody hates collection agencies. If you ask me, I'm gonna tell you the chances of them, if you have a collection with a collection agency, and the chances of them having the amount of information to prove that, first of all, that they own the debt and that they could speak on that debt to say what they're saying that you owe is actual and factual and true. That is the challenge for debt collection agencies. Believe me, if they could do that on everything, they would be filing way more court cases with all. But a lot of times they do not have the information because they're buying these debts. They're buying package amounts of debt. They're not just going out and purchasing your debt. They have purchased $200, $300, $400, $1 million worth of debt. Some of these big debt collection companies by Encore, they're big debt collection agencies and they buy large amounts of debt. And the only thing the creditor is really sending them is probably a last bill statement, you know, all of this stuff, right? But they're not sending them like everything that they could prove that the interest was applied correctly, that all payments was made, that this account is actual and factual. Because they didn't maintain that account, it's hard for them to say that what they're claiming that you owe is what you owe. That's why a lot of times they'll negotiate with you. They will send you a letter say, hey, you owe $900, but we'll negotiate this down to $550. Because they understand and know that they really don't have all the right information. Now, listen, not paying and getting it off your credit report, if it's $500, you can't get it off your credit report, it is more damaging. Too many people get so frustrated that they don't act and let something ride on your credit report that it's going to cost you more money than $500. Because your credit score is going to get jacked. For you to apply for stuff, the interest rates, listen, interest rates are high now. If you go look at trying to buy the APR for a house, it's up. Even if you got good credit, they want 6 and 7%. So now just imagine what a person with good credit has to pay 6 and 7%. What do you think you're going to have to pay with poor credit? So $500 or $1,200, $1,300, when the interest is applied, you're gonna pay way more than that. Way more. So I am big on saying, yes, let's look at it to get it off. But I'm also telling you, if you tried everything and it comes down, we're going to get to your last resort, what you should do and still save you some money. Get it off your credit report. Don't let it ride on there where it comes off next year. You know where your credit report could be 12 months from now? If you're working on your credit, why put your life on hold or let people have such control of your finances? I am telling you, quit letting these people have so much control over your finances that limit what you can do. I am telling you, with stuff that's going on in the world today, y'all better wake up because it's going to be more and more difficult. They are trying to separate the haves and the have-nots. You have to make a determination what side of that fence you want to be on. So I am telling you, I want you to get it off. But if last resort, and we're going to talk about it, don't allow something to ride on your credit report to minimize your ability to grow. Get a better credit report, get better, and typically grow your wealth, right? Be able to grow your wealth. Listen, there are people that say, just open an LLC. At some point, to get real money, they're going to look at your credit report. They are not going to skip that credit report. I don't care what none of them tell you. I went to a bank. You know, a lot of stuff out there about Truist Bank. Hey, I bought a franchise. I've already got a business account with Navy Federal. Then I say, well, let me go buy us a Truist account because I want a taxable account and I want an operational account. You know what Truist told me? They said, a lot of people out here telling about we give no doc loans. We do, but we're not. If you haven't been in business for at least 2 years, we're going to want to see tax returns on your business, and we're going to want to see what kind of revenue you're banging in. So I'm telling you, a lot of people, and I went there just the other day. I can show you my information. It's down in the room. I just went to Truist the other day and added, and that's exactly what they told me. There's a lot of information talking about no doc loans. Go to Truist. They'll give you up to $50,000. Man, a lot of people, maybe a lot of people was getting that, but that is not happening today. Truist has probably said, okay, this is all over the internet. A lot of people been coming in. We've been a little lenient about our money. We need to tighten up on that money. So, I mean, a lot of times we listen to stuff, but listen, I'm first to tell you, even with me, go look at the information, go dig, because I learned sometimes they're telling certain things and man, and then when you go see it, they may was right 6 months ago, but it ain't right today. But anyway, I don't want this video to be too long, me dragging on. We're on debt collectors. So there is something you should go to. I tell everybody to go to. It's called the Attorney Guide to the Federal Fair Debt Collection Practice Act. It is kind of a condensed guide of 1692, really. It goes in, it's something that you may want to look at. I'll put it up, I'll write it up. But it's something that you can look that talks about the general definitions, what type of debt are covered under this statute. Some debts have been found to be outside the realm of consumer debts, including, it talks about claims of theft, property taxes, lease for businesses, equipment or family-owned businesses, child support obligations. Who is defined as a debt collector? It talks about that. A term debt collector is defined as being a person who principal business is to collect debt or who regularly collects debt on behalf of another, right? Then it talks about communications with parties concerning a debt. It also talks about how may a debt collector communicate with you. You know, I don't want to go through everything. This video would be real long. I just want to tell you the key things so you can go look this information up. How can other parties be contacted regarding a debtor? In obtaining location information under 1692, a debtor collector must, it talks about that, prohibit acts of debt collectors. It talks about that. False or misleading representation in 1692, it talks about that. Unfair practices, it talks about that. Legal action to be brought to proper venue, it talks about that. 1692I, right? Talks about multiple debts. It talks about penalties of non-compliance. It talks about civil actions by debtor. It talks about the Federal Trade Commission, state enforcement. So if you want kind of a condensed, because when you get into 1692, it's a lot. If you want more of a condensed guide, and I looked this up, it's called the Attorney Guide to Federal Fair Debt Collection Practice Act. Good Lord. So it's a good way to go look when you're seeing what these collectors can do and can't do. Read on it. It's really kind of broken down to you so you can get a better understanding of it. Okay. The next thing we're going to talk about, where people miss this all the time. I I tell clients, let me see that collection letter that you received, right? And there's a lot of debt collection companies that are not following the rules when it comes to sending you a letter. And I'm about to blow your mind away with some stuff where somebody sued a debt collection and you're going to read this and think it was right. But the court said no. So, but first we're going to talk about language required in a debt collection letter. This is stuff that is required in a letter that they send you. These are things, that's why I tell people, a lot of times they don't want to open up that debt collection letter. There's probably already a violation in there for you to get out of that debt or sue them. But if we don't open it up, how do you know? Don't assume that these people, you owe these people a money and be scared to open a debt. They sending something to your house and you scared to open up stuff in your own house. Think about that. Open up that letter, because there may be some violations on that letter that may get you out of paying them. But if you never open it, you never know. But let's talk. So a lot of people, you'll hear people say they need to send you a signed copy. All that is false information. If you read the Fair Debt Collection Practice Act, it does not say that a collection agency must send you all this information. What it says is it says upon contacting a debt collector, a collection agency is required to mail a written notice known as a validation notice. A validation notice must include the following: name of creditor, amount owed, how the debtor can debate the amount owed if he or she doesn't think they owe the debt. That's all I got to put in there. Let me rephrase that. Then with some of the most important things that have to be in the letter, because there are other things that got to be in the letter. Let me retract that statement, right? There's something called privacy laws when it comes to your debt collection letter. There are privacy laws that they have to adhere to, or that letter is in violation, right? So let's check this out. A debtor are protected under the privacy law when it comes to debt collection. By law, a collection agent cannot refer to themselves as a debt collection agency on their company envelope. So if you give an envelope and it says, even if it says anything that say they're a debt collection, and honestly, if it's a debt collection lawyer with a lawyer name on the front of it, I would challenge it. Because I would tend to say, well, I shouldn't be getting any type of lawyer information unless I've done something illegal. That's what lawyers do. And I would challenge that. If a lawyer send me, they got their lawyer name, and you open up, it's a debt collection letter. Oh, yeah, I'm going to court. I'm challenging them. You should get just a plain right letter. And like the little glass link, if you can see inside that glass link, there are court cases that if you see, you can see within that glass link that is a debt collection letter. That is the invasion of your privacy. You can sue the debt collection agency because of that. And there are court cases that have done that. So be mindful. Your privacy is very important. And if they violate those privacies, man, you can go after the collection agency. In addition, I'm getting back to in addition, the agency is not allowed to send a collection notice on a postcard because that is an invasion of your privacy, right? Again, we're talking about your privacy. We understand most of it here, they can't be threatening you and untrue statements and all that. But let's dig a little deeper. Things must be in that debt collection letter. Now, federal laws require initial letter has a 30-day verification notice. The following statement should be written within the letter. This is an attempt to collect a debt. Any information obtained will be used for that purpose. Has to be in every debt collection letter. Additional letter must include the following. This letter is from a debt collection agency. So those things need to be in there. It is also unlawful for a collection agency to refer themselves as a government agency. Something else you need to notice must be in the debt collection letter. The collection agency office hours must be printed within every letter. The physical street address of the license office must appear within the collection letter. So if you get a letter with only a P.O. box, that is a violation. It has to send you the physical street address of the license office. Have to. It is a requirement under the Fair Debt Collection Practice Act. The collection can only use terms litigation or legal action if the collector has actually authorized litigation. In other words, they cannot use terms as a tactic to scare you to scare a person into paying a debt. Now, let me tell you something. You get these jacked up collection agencies that call you and say, hey, we have a legal matter that we're trying to contact you on. That right there lets you know this is somebody trying to get some money out of you. That is a violation all day long. They already said it was legal. If we don't hear from you, we're going to take legal action. All that stuff, or making it sound like they're going to serve you and all that. They shouldn't be doing that. So if they're going to serve you, they're going to serve you. They're not going to call you on the phone and tell you. They're not going to tell you there's a legal matter that we need to address and you need to call us back. They shouldn't be doing none of that, right? Because they're trying to use scare tactics to make you pay. And that's against the Fair Debt Collection Practice Act. So if you get those phone calls like that, you need to tell them. If you answer and you do, ask them what their number is, what their physical address is. Just go and bait them in because they're trying to bait you in. Now, such words as pay now or pay immediately should be avoided in the first letter. So that very first letter you get, if you see something that says pay now, pay immediately, those terms, I would take them to court. A collection should never offer a creditor a loan arrangement in order to collect on a debt. Should not happen. It should never happen. So those are some of the things you need to really be looking at when you open up those letters, because you may find violations within that letter. What should you do if you find those violations? Now, what I would do, I would take the information under section 1692. In this section, if it's section A or B or I, whatever, it was required for you to have such and such, or it was required to you not to put this in. So this letter, or the letter you sent me, is a violation of the Fair Debt Collection Practice Act, which now you're in violation. Now, I would say, now I'm going to take this information to a consumer lawyer to see what my actions are to take against you to get this debt removed off my credit report. Boom. That's what I would do. Because they have to backtrack. Now they may sell that debt. They may try to sell it. But most cases you're going to get that unless they're not smart and you have them flat out in a violation of the Fair Debt Collection Practice Act for them to continue to try to go after you. They're not that smart, right? And you have grounds. Quit. Listen, it doesn't cost more to take them to court. Go down to the courthouse, probably cost you whatever you're at, $75, $100, $200 to file a case against them. And you have the proof. You have the letter. You know what the Fair Debt Collection Practice Act 1692 says. File it. Right? That's the only way we win against collection agencies. Quit taking their junk and then put them on the fire. But they do stuff all the time. Probably can't even, then you have an opportunity. How do you know I even owe this debt? By the violation, how do I know that you understand if this is the true amount that I owe? Just think about that. They've already put themselves in a negative. They already put themselves in an aspect that they are already doing stuff illegal. So why wouldn't you take them to court and get it wiped off and not pay them nothing and probably get paid back for the violation that they done, right? Up to $1,000. So, but let me read something to y'all, and you can look this up. You know, people send me negative stuff sometimes saying I don't know what I'm talking about, all that. I just joke and laugh because I know what I bring to the table and the hard work I do to serve y'all out there who do watch my videos, right? Who do understand that I'm putting in the work. I told y'all I was going to be getting on here more often, but I'm going through some of the stuff I've talked about. But I want to, since I haven't been, I want to kind of wipe through. I got a lot of new subscribers on my channel, so I want to make sure I have some updated videos because I have a lot of videos out there. So, in Homer versus the Law Office of Frederick and Weinberg and Associates. Now, this was a attorney's office. That's why I'm telling y'all that just because they try to scare you with that attorney stuff, they may not be on top of their game. So this is a person named Homer, and they took the law office of Frederick I. Weinberg and Associate to court. Let me read what happened. The court stated that the law office of Frederick I. Weinberg and Associates sent a collection letter to a Pennsylvania consumer, which contained the following validation notice. Now, you, when I'm reading this, you tell me, do you think this is okay, correct, right? Unless this office hears from you, this is what was said, unless this office hears from you within 30 days after receipt of this letter that you disputed the validation of this debt or any portion thereof, this office will assume the debt is valid. So what they're saying, if you don't reply to this debt within the 30 days, we're going to assume this debt is valid, right? It says, if you notify this office in writing within 30 days of your receipt of this letter that the debt or any portion, any portion thereof is disputed, this office will obtain verification of the debt, or if the debt is founded upon a judgment, a copy of the judgment will be obtained, and this office will mail to you a copy of such verification or judgment. So let me go down. The debtor, this is the debtor. The debtor asserted that this paragraph violated the Fair Debt Collection Practice Act. In response, the collection firm argued that the letter language was merely colloquial and mirrored the statute and did not limit the time the debtor had to dispute the debt. Guess what? The court disagreed and granted summary judgment to the debtor. The court first considered whether the language in the validation notice validated the FDCPA. Under Section 1692G, A3, the debt collection violation notice must include a statement that unless the consumer within 30 days after receipt of this notice disputed the validation of this debt, the debt will be assumed to be validated by the debt collection agency. Now, see the difference in what they said and what the court said they should have said? The debt will be assumed to be validated by the debt collection. Section 15 USC 1692 G-3. Nothing that this section of the Fair Debt Collection Practice does not mention the word in writing. Remember, they put in writing. It's nowhere in there said it had to be in writing. The court never held that informing a debtor that a debt collection must hear from within 30 days violated the law under existing precedent set by the U.S. Court of Appeals of the Third Circuit, as opposed to be language of the Fair Debt Collection Practice Act itself. See what I'm saying? So there were key words in there that they put that was a violation. So what I'm telling you is that you can open up these letters and they can come from law offices that have violations in them. So a lot of people don't talk about this. When I'm working with clients, these are the things I'm looking for. Like, I'm not looking just on the credit report what's wrong. If you really are doing credit repair, there's things outside this. There's multiple things you can look for that may not really obtain to the credit report, but it may pertain how they're communicating with you and things that they're saying to you or asking you about. There are violations. So it's much deeper than that. And you have to dig when you're dealing with this stuff. So believe that, think about that. Just to recap it, in that letter, they said, unless the office hears from you within 30 days, that was a violation, right? And after receipt of this letter, that your dispute, the validation of the debt, or any portion of this debt, this office will assume this debt is validated if you notify us in writing, right? There's nothing in there that says they have to do it in writing, right? So there are multiple cases. Like, I look up court cases. I get people to talk to me, say I don't know what I'm talking about. I look up court cases. That tells me, am I right? Am I wrong? Am I passing out good information? I'm not a lawyer, but I don't have to be a lawyer to read a court case. I can look at the court case and say, hey, okay, they made a violation. Now, when I'm dealing with my clients, I know that's how I need to look at it. I need to look at it I like to look at stuff on the legal side, because a lot of times, a lot of people don't take that approach. They avoid that, but I don't. So there's some more court cases in there. I'm not going to get in because I don't want to make this video. I wanted to bring you that. And it's all about language in the debt collection letter. Now, let's talk about, I would do a video just on disputing, but I just want to kind of get over the legal side of it, right? So let's talk about, you disputed a debt collection letter. You come back, it's still disputed. Excuse me, it's still on your credit report. You can't get it off. Let's say it's $1,000, right? You're trying to figure out, do I want to take them to court? Do I have the time to take them to court? I really don't want to go to court. I don't want to make the wrong move, say the wrong thing in court where it could cause me to owe the debt. I just want to pay the debt and get it off my credit report, right? How do you do that? Some people would say, just call them up and get a, pay for deletion. Now, the collection agency is going to still try to get the most out of you because you're not educated on certain strategies to pay a lot less than that. You owe them $1,000 and say, if you pay us $600, we'll take it off. But then on top of that, you got to hope that they actually do. Because once they don't correct it on your credit report, what leverage do you have to get it off if you don't have it in writing? Right? You have to go. And then what happens if that person don't work at that collection agency no more? Yeah, you got his name and say, well, I talked to David, but David don't work in his office no more. We have to let David go. So what does that mean? He told me that y'all would delete it. We don't delete collection accounts. So we just update it to say paid less than or paid in full. That's what we do. Now you're upset, you're mad, you're frustrated because you thought you did the right thing to get it off your credit report, and it's still on your credit report, but it just says 0. Now, we can get into some other stuff about how does it affect your quote, about how bad. It may not affect your credit score, but what it is, it still shows that at some point you didn't pay a debt. It got to a point where they sold it to a debt collection agency, and that's how it's on your credit report. But what strategies, Larry, what strategies would you use? I'm all about, I want proof. So I'm all about using something called a restrictive endorsement letter. What is that? What is that? It is a contract between you and a debt collection agency. Now, I have this package it's a $30 package, not much. It has the letters, it has follow-up letters, it has everything you need, because collection agencies think they smart, and you gotta let them know I ain't done. So you need to take it off, or we're gonna be sitting up in the courthouse. So what do? What is that strategy? What that strategy is, there's a letter that I have with some legal jargon in the letter, and it has some information in there to say, if you agree to this payment and you're going to use a personal check, and there's a statement you have to write on the personal check. If you use this and they cash the check, you got legal proof. You don't have to ask them for it. You have it. Because anytime they cash a check, it has the statement on the back of the check. You have proof that they cashed the check. Right? So with the letter, with the information in the letter, with the information you put on the back of the check, you're good to go. Now, somebody may come in and say, oh, there's certain things you have to put that will eliminate them from being able to use the information on your check for an ACH. If they do that, they're in big trouble, a very big violation, right? So if you get to that point, there is a strategy to get it removed. I am going to tell you, I had a client with a $9,000 collection account. We used this strategy and sent them $1,500. They cashed that check. She got out of that $9,000 collection account. I tell people all the time, with this strategy, if you owe $1,000, you could use this strategy and pay $250. See if they bite and take it. Play the games with them. Just say they send that check back to you and say, we won't accept that. Shit, I just bump it up to $300 because I want to show that I made an attempt. So if they say, oh, we can't accept that, I'm going to send you $350. I'm going to say, well, my limit may be $400 on that $1,000, which is 40% of the debt. Or you may say, I'm not paying them more than 30%. But if you took multiple times to try to collect that debt and they don't, then me, well, I tried to make attempts. I'm taking y'all to court. Y'all gonna have to show me or prove to me that I owe y'all this money. And when I go, hey, Your Honor, I made several attempts to pay this debt. On such and such date, I sent them $250. They rejected it. I sent them $300. They rejected it. I sent them $350, Your Honor. They rejected it. Now they need to prove to me that they have a legal right to collect on this debt. So you got to know how to play the games. And if you learn how to play the games, you'll win. So I am telling you, there are strategies out there. If you want to know more about this strategy, email me. I put the email up in there. You know, if you email me, I'm going to give you my phone number. If you want me to look at your credit report, I'm going to give you a free credit analysis. If you want my master dispute package, where it has all the information in there, everything from restrictive endorsement to how to handle debt collection, how to build your credit, 1099-Cs, how to try to get a charge-off removed, all that stuff. If you want to know, it's in my master dispute package. But you know what the best thing about that master dispute package is? I don't go nowhere. You got my phone number, my email, and if you have any questions, I'm here to help you. So how many other people are doing that? How many people have you dealt with that you probably bought something or did something you don't hear from? They ain't answering your emails, they ain't nothing. Anybody that's dealt with me know they have my phone number and they can call me. And I keep it with me. So any question, if I don't answer, leave a voicemail or text me. I'll get back to you. If there's something, we can set up a time to talk. But if you have any questions about if I didn't make anything clear, you have any more questions about this strategy, shoot me an email. But I need to get off here. This video is kind of long. I appreciate y'all. All y'all like, subscribe, share. Thank you for hanging out with me. Hopefully this video wasn't too long. I didn't bore you. Hopefully I gave you some valuable information. Hey, we'll be back with some more stuff. Man, maybe we'll talk about disputing next time. Maybe I'll talk about charge-offs because people hit me about them charge-offs. Maybe we could talk about strategies on charge-offs too. So, because a lot of people are frustrated with charge-offs. And I can give you what I do for charge-offs, how I rope them in to set them up. So if you have any questions, check me out. I appreciate y'all for hanging out with me. Like, subscribe, share the video. And I'm out.